Hello, welcome to Brynn. So, to clarify two things from the beginning, number one, Brynn is no longer giving you quests, it's just a big shopping mall. Number two, it's supposed to be an endgame location where you can buy all of the gear you need, but it's going to be super expensive and you need to go through a lot of loopholes to get it. So yeah, basically, it's a big shopping mall that you can buy very good stuff, but only when you are very loaded with gold. Now, there are a few issues with all of these things, but let's just get started and I'll present the city to you as a whole. Now, first of all, I don't remember where exactly this happens, but at some point you will be able to talk to someone from here, is that person over there, and they'll give you a letter so you can buy better stuff. But before you go there, let's present all of the parts of the city, the old towers, and then we'll show you those things. So, what is over here? First of all, the family pawn shop. This probably will be the most important building in the city for you if you don't have all of the quests done or if you don't have a lot of money to spare, because they can actually have some of the in-game items and you can buy them. The problem is they'll be damaged and they'll be super expensive. But if you want to buy them, why not? Sure, I mean, look at this, it's a 4000 helmet, but it's an in-game item, which might not be the best one, but hey, you can probably buy it pretty early. So the belt, duelist belt, counter chance, dodge, crit avoidance, skill energy cost. Just for the counter chance and the dodge chance, this is amazing. So yeah, whenever you come to the city, I recommend you start from this side and just look over here at the pawn shop. They might have very good items for you to buy. No, secondly. Let's go to that place I mentioned, which will be the... This is the bailiff. And like I said, I'm not sure when that happened. My reputation currently is maxed out, which is respect. I think it happens after you reach the second or the third level for Brynn. So if you don't see the dialogue or if you cannot get the quest, just increase your reputation a little more. Bern. If you throw it away, you can always get another one. You also have some interesting things to sell you. I think they change. Yeah, I think they change as well, but kind of like mid-game items, or there's some items you can get that can be useful when you arrive over here, plus the map and some other things. And what else is in the new towers? Well, to be honest, not much else. There's a few locations. Let me just quickly look at the area over here. Also, I'm not using any mods, so yeah, to clarify that from the beginning, not using any mods. Jan's grocery store. You might think, well, this is not so important, but this is one of the most important buildings in the game, or one of the most important merchants in the game, because you can buy most of the ingredients you need stuff, plus also the ginger, plus you can buy some really good food over here. Look at this. Weapon damage. You can get something that adds weapon damage and lowering the fatigue, plus the hunger resistance and energy. Just amazing for 100, which is quite cheap for the bonuses it gives you. Also, look at this, 6 morale, experience gain 5%, oyster chowder. So this alone makes it one of the best items, more or less one of the best food items in the game, because anything that increases your gained experience, you just eat it when you see your first enemy in a dungeon and so on. But the idea is that here you can find a lot of cooking recipes, plus the seasonings which will add effects to the dishes. So yeah, for example, if you put this seasoning into an oyster chowder, you will gain the experience for 480 turns. So yeah, this is what you need for the endgame cooking and some of the other stuff, plus you can get other very cool things. I don't want to get into details, but it's very important that for later into the game you can cook your own food, which will be mostly preserved in your caravan, and that will open up a lot of different perspectives for you as well, because you will be able to just survive with your own food and you don't need to buy so many junk foods and some other stuff. But most importantly, there's also a bakery over here. Let me see if I missed something. Sorry about that. But as you can see, this is an endgame location, so if you arrive here too soon, man, I guess you cannot really do much. Why is the bakery important? Because here you can get flour as main ingredient, but you can also get the pies, the bilberry pies, which is a fan favorite, I guess. So this is about 48 food, but it increases your morale every time you eat it, so it's 8% morale, which is kind of cool and kind of nice. You also have the custard muffins, which, as you can see, they are very fun, but they spoil pretty fast. You also have the honey over here, and some other things. Also, you have a lot of pancakes, which are very, very good because they last 5 days. They increase your max energy, plus the fatigue resistance, which is underappreciated, plus, anyway, the 5 sanity. So it's just great to come over here, get the food and put it in your caravan stash in case you have the upgrades necessary to benefit you. There is an upgrade that will allow you to store the food 2 times more, or to keep the food 2 times more than they normally would expire. I will do a separate video about all of the caravan upgrades. Currently I'm a bit sick, so that's why I'm speaking a little bit weird. But let's continue the main idea of the game with the quest. So get those letters, the City of Golden Corruption and bribing the bailiff. So let's go to that sector where you can actually do those things. So you get the letters from there, and then you need to find the 2 NPCs that are responsible for this. This will give you access to the carpenter endgame items and to the blacksmith endgame items. You'll be over here in the guild quarter, which is probably the most important one in the endgame, or you'll just be buying stuff. Now, in order to do that, you need to get 2 rubies, and of course 3 bottles of Elven ice wine. The Elven ice wine you can get from either the Elven shop or sometimes in the port. The port has a shop that I think it changes based on certain factors. I don't know, sometimes it's an elf, sometimes it's a Scadian, sometimes it's something else. The rubies you can get from here, but there are a lot of other important things from there as well that you can obtain. So see, this guy will talk to you, but he will say come and meet me after hours. And what does he mean after hours? Well, I think basically once he starts heading into the building, I'm not sure how precise this is, but I think you can try after 18 o'clock or 19, yeah. And then you have to follow me into his quarter, and then he'll give you the option to access the surplus gear. Now I guess you can waste a little more time looking at this and... Noble harp, I like this one. Let's just get a quick view of all of these items, because again, these are endgame items and it's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. That belt. Ray resistance, physical resistance, block chance. I guess you have a choice between the belt that gives you counter and this belt over here with physical resistance. I think I'll just buy the counter belt of camera because it's a little more useful for my character. Anyway, let's not get into that. Let's just look at all of the cool stuff he can sell us. Super expensive. As a big note, there are better items than this, but they're unique items. Well, not really unique items, but just very high quality items of the same items more or less. So this is endgame gear, but there's also the unique endgame gear as well. So that will be a little better than the ones you see over here. Look at this. This is so cool. Grossmesser. Yeah. By the way, this is German. These are the German swords. The best German swords. Yeah, they kind of look like a giant knife, but eh. They're also very good. Any more? Look at some of the armor. Skill armor. I guess this one is not bad. Oh, by the way, you're also paying overpriced items as well. This is definitely overpriced. I guess what can you do? Wow, that nightly wormhole. This is crazy. The stats on these things are just incredible. 25% stun chance. The basic stats for this thing is just amazing. Plus it also looks very cool. Blackbearer armor. Nice, 28% crit. What is this? Captain Cuirass. Now keep in mind that certain items will have certain special properties. For example, you can find a weird hat that you can sometimes find either at the bailiff or sometimes at the pawn shop. That is basically a mercenary hat with a lot of colors and a feather. That hat, for example, will give you less protection, but it will give you more crit chance. So keep in mind that certain, even normal items can have better stats and can give more interesting things. Like this one, the Captain Cuirass has cooldowns duration minus 3%, while normal armors don't give such a thing. But it has lower... Anyway, let's not get into that. Yeah, so you can basically dress as a mercenary leader. Kind of fun. Noble armor. It's just raw stats. I mean, look at this: 26 protection, physical resistance 30%. That's kind of crazy, but so is the price. Opposed to the vigorous, as opposed to the old-fashioned armor. Yeah, I want to buy one of this stuff as well, but I don't really think it's worth it in the long run. Unless you're doing the in-game content, which might need it. Then 90 pole mace, look at this days and stagger chance. Yeah, this is another, but why would you want the nightly pole mace as opposed to the nightly wormhole? Huh. Because of the crit chance, but yeah. I guess this is a problem. The pole maces and such are not really that better balanced than most other things. That has armor penetration and a little bit of body part damage, but this one has a lot more armor damage. So I guess you can use this to destroy damage, but after that you just have to destroy the health. So I guess it doesn't really make sense, but I see why they did it like that. Jagged Foliage, the heavy products. Trample hammer. Oh, this is also pretty interesting. Block chance. Derax. Pontoon. It's pontoon. Sorry about that. Interesting stats on this one as well. I mean, immobilization chance 20%. That's something you probably want. Pontoon, it sounds like a spoon. The Brynn-How hammer, this is another in-game item as well. Very cool stats, so this will also help you decide what weapon you want to use for the in-game, maybe. The bill hook, saber halberd, wow, okay. To destroy everything with one hit. This reminds me of the halberd or the bill hook from Battle Brothers that destroyed everything. It has stagger, crit, and just destroys everything. That's very cool. Now we get into the helmets. I guess we have a few cool helmets down there. Have the common heavy boots, so let's focus more on this one. So the rifted gloves are better than the soldier gloves, and then you have the captain gloves. Don't seem to have a special ability. I'm a bit disappointed, but I guess they're... Oh no, they have less debuffs. I guess it's not such a big one. Because remember, gloves tend to give you a fumble chance if you go for the higher protection ones like this ones. Common heavy gloves, common mini gloves. So this is basically a medium glove that is almost as good as a heavy glove. 17, 18%. Yeah. The captain gloves are better than the plate mittens. Which is a lot to think about, so you probably... If you want medium gloves, this is kind of like maybe the endgame tier stuff, but if you want the heavy ones, you probably will choose these ones, the plate gauntlets. But as a small note, if you don't have the necessary reputation, let me check again, show you. Respect, if you are at the next tier, if you're not at respect and if you are at the next tier, I think these items will cost you about 500 more gold, 500 more dinars or gold. And that would be, let me see how much they cost if you don't have the reputation maxed out. Because I remember the gloves, there's some very cool ones as well. I remember the gloves being about 4,100, so that's about 20% more. So if you're not at the max reputation, everything is about 20% more, and if you are at the first reputation rank, I cannot even imagine how expensive this will be. So yeah, you should probably only buy the items, you should buy, let's say like this, you should only buy the armor when you have max reputation with Brynn. But if you need a weapon, a better weapon, you should buy them as soon as you have the money, because weapons will help you finish the contracts a lot faster. Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. That's even better. Fumble chance is 4%. But this one has a fumble chance of 5%, but basically they are so much better. They look very expensive as well. Also keep in mind that these gloves will give you block chance. But this has a lot more crit avoidance. I don't know. I guess you'll have to choose what you wear, but it's amazing and it's so expensive. Sabatons. I guess I bought the Sabatons because I was really not finding better boots. By the way, boots are a must-have in the game currently because everything seems to attack your legs. One's called Bassinet. Look at this, 22 protection, but vision -2. Protection 28%. I guess I didn't. I guess we don't see the very high tier helmets. This is the best we can see, and this is only, let's say, mid endgame tier. Oh, I might want to buy some flails as well, okay. Double axe. Did me with axes simulated? Nah. It's probably because the axes are very good and damaging skill, so they don't really need better base stats. Probably very good as well. Captain Messer. I don't see the appeal of it, it just does pretty good damage. Definitely Warhammer, yeah, this is not so good for a mace or a hammer. The Warhammers are mostly to destroy armor penetration and armor damage, but if your opponent doesn't have armor, so this is the trick. I think a lot of items need rebalance, or the enemies need rebalance, because you don't see a lot of enemies with armor in the first part of the game, and later on you see a lot more, but then you are seeing less as well. Anyway, it's a weird design. Flail, so this will have... I'm interested in the flames because that's my build, dual flail build. Has crit chance, daze and stagger. I guess it's not that good compared to what I have. I guess I would be losing... It even has less crit chance than the spiked flail. I guess the advantage for this one would be the daze chance be double and something more. The stagger chance is not really that good, but you also have more cost. But anyway, the damage is beautiful. It's so much more damage. Basically about 50% more damage if you think about it. By the way, I have frost and fire damage on these things, so I'm not sure how enemies will die. Only when I had the electricity damage did they electrocute and die in smoke. While being covered in smoke. So yeah, I guess we didn't roll for the better... Oh, this is one of the better ones. In 12. Yeah, I think there's a better one. It's better than this as well, but I didn't see it. Got Queenland. Interesting. I don't see any other daggers. I guess we didn't get any cool daggers. This is the coolest one, but they look so nice. Plus, that's pretty good. So, this is probably what you want for a knight. Oh, the stats are so good on this one. So, beautiful and peak performance and efficiency. So, let's go and look at the other merchant. Now, the problem with this stuff is that you'll not really be able to... How should I put it? You'll need to waste a lot of time on your life here. Because of all of these weird restrictions. And here is the carpenter. The carpenter is usually outside. Now he'll be on the top floor. Yeah, I kind of wasted some time searching for these people. That's him? Wait. I have the Pulliver crossbow. By the way, in crossbows you also need range, accuracy, armor penetration, and immobilization chance. So crossbows actually need a lot of good stats, so let's look at them and compare them a little bit. Bring crossbow, okay, that's the first one I see that is better than mine, but the range is lower, so that's not good because you need to reload, take aim, and then shoot. So that's basically 3 turns you need to waste. So if you have more range, you can shoot more times, because basically 11 minus 3, 6, 11 minus 6, it's 5, so you have enough time to shoot maybe 3 times and then switch to your main weapons. So that's why you should always pick the crossbow, the better range, because I don't know, I guess damage is not all that it seems. Oh, each crossbow. Yeah. I kind of remember this being the best one in the game. So 11. I think this is the best crossbow, the best basic crossbow in the game. 45 armor penetration, body part damage. That's great because you want to use, by the way, as a small tip, you want to use the broad head bolts as well. Even though the accuracy ones are a little better, this will help you either bleed or injure a target, which is great in many ways. Knockback will be 35%, and sometimes you can get enchant to give it another 5%, which can be amazing for something like this. That's so cool. Yeah, shields, like I said, I don't really use shields. Also, people are complaining about lack of bows, but it seems like we didn't get a better bow here either. Yeah, well, that's a shame. Because there's no better ammo type, broadheads or the botkins. Yeah, I guess this was a very bad roll in terms of shields and bows, but it was great in terms of the crossbow. 10,000, that's a lot of money. I have to save so much money. But it will probably be worth it, since with this thing I can kill enemies at range without even having a lot of trouble. By the way, as a rule, I usually keep on other stacks of boats in my bag. Yeah, so this is basically the endgame vendors. Let's go outside. And said we have to go to a tavern and sleep so we can check out the other shops. Yeah, some of them will have really important and interesting things. You can also sleep over here, the Free Pots Tavern. It's not so expensive, be careful, because some of the prices in the city are kind of overcharged, I don't know. Just make sure you don't buy from the wrong people, because you might end up spending a lot of money. I guess it's a boring subject, but be careful what you buy, from where you buy it and from what merchant, and it can get very expensive just to live in the city for a few days in case you want to think about your purchases. So this was the two main merchants of the guild quarter. By the way, you cannot enter the guilds themselves. So you have to visit the jewel shop, which is also one of my favorites. And this is where things get a little trickier, because this place actually has a lot of things you want. Okay, now before I show some of them, this is what I recommend you do. As soon as possible, come over here and buy the amethyst stuff, because the amulet plus the rings will give you a combine of 15% extra experience permanently. But then you also have to come back over here to repair them, so keep in mind that this is the only place that actually repairs the fancy stuff, the fancy jewelry. So if you want to repair it, you'll have to come over here at regular intervals, or you want to repair stuff and keep it for yourself. Yeah, this is probably your only chance. By the way, this is also where you buy the 2 rubies. And let's look at some of the stuff. The ruby pendant. Accuracy. Energy restoration. Kind of nice. Magic power. Look at that magic power. Yes, this is mostly for, magic users, but as you saw, there are some very important items for general purpose. And also, if you enchant them, it will be doing a lot of good stuff. Oh yeah, look at these rings. Magic power or weapon damage plus max health. So if you have 2 of these rings, that's almost 10% more damage while you have some extra health. Wait. Bleed resistance. Why do they insist so much on bleed resistance? Magic power and health. Okay, this is probably what most people will prefer, I guess. Oh wow. Okay, so if you have the golden sapphire, that's 12. 40% more magical power, plus more miracle stuff. Oh, this is miracle potency, and that's miracle chance. I'm not playing mages, so I don't know what they mean. But I'm looking at these ones as well. Look at that. Energy 7. So with 2 rings we'll have 14 extra energy plus the energy restoration plus the magic resistance. So I guess these are the rings for the people that are so fed up with being beat up by mages. Or by magic in general. You will have so much energy you will not be able to... I mean, you will not be out of energy when fighting mages or chasing mages. And pretty good. Don't steal anything. Okay, so this is basically the guild quarter, so let's go into the main square over here. Now, we'll have a lot of work over here as well, and I think I want to start from the top. The main square. Most of the times you'll just come over here to look at the elf merchant. The other merchants are also pretty good, but this guy is the real deal. I guess we can kind of approach the area from this side. By the way, it's also worth checking out their wares, because since they're elves, they might have interesting stuff to buy. I think this is supposed to be a guild for the elves or something. And sometimes they can have interesting stuff to buy. This guy just sells mushrooms and vegetables mostly, but think about it. This is where you can get the rest of your ingredients, the vegetable trader. So, where the vegetable traders with the other food stuff from where I showed you, that's basically all of the ingredients you need for the more complex food stuff. Okay, and this is the more important part, because here you can actually find the 2 remaining upgrades that you need for your caravan. I think people will be a little surprised, but this is where you find them all the time and every time you come over here. So the spice box and the incense burner will always be at the elf shop, and I think they were so expensive before, but now they seems like they're acceptable. Like I said, this is where you can buy the elven ice wine. They can have 1 or 2 or 3. I guess if you only get 1, you have to go to the port. If not, just have to skip some time and hope they refresh their storage. Elven mud wine is also pretty good, but yeah, it's not really worth the price. So also buy the spice box and the incense burner as soon as you can, because they're amazing upgrades for your caravan. You also have this great cape over here, which has physical resistance, so if you don't have a better cape, yeah, always buy one of these. The red silk mantle is also great for magic users, but it's so expensive. You also have the elven flail, which is... This is actually a very rare item. I have never seen it, and I've come to the elven shop a lot of times. Maybe I was just unlucky. I guess it focuses on days chance. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. So you can get items from a number of locations. So let's kind of repeat. You can get it from the pawn shop. If you cannot find it at the guild quarter, you can also get it from the elf shop. Or from the main square as well. So there are a few locations for you to get endgame items as well. Well, I guess this is pretty important in the beginning of the game as well. So if you come to Brynn in the beginning, you'll definitely have a lot of places to spend your money. It's also pretty nice. Muff shield. 9% counter chance is actually pretty high. So yeah, that's also worth buying. Also, here is where you find the dry figs and the ginger, more importantly, and the elven citrus. Ginger is forever, just because of the way ginger is made. I don't know why it compares my offhand item. And more importantly, this is a flail that gives you stun chance, so let's see. I guess it has some bonuses, but they're not very good. It also debuffs your accuracy by 10%, which is a lot. But it does have the crit chance plus the fumble, so minus accuracy plus fumble chance, that's a horrible combination. Oh, wait a minute. 30% daze and 36 stagger chance, that's huge. You're almost going to get a few stuns every time at this rate. Okay, I'll probably end up buying the elven flail, to be completely honest, because that would be a great combination, but yeah, that would debuff my stats a lot more, so I guess I have to think about it. They do have a lot of items. I think they can have items from every part of the spectrum of weapons and such. Oh yeah, this is the stable area. This is where you can buy some stuff for the horse upgrade and some other stuff. So that's also an area. And here is the general vendors. What are those? Yes. Good stuff, so yeah. All of the ingredients you'll ever need. Prices are acceptable at this rate. Here is also you can buy burnets and some other stuff. Bottles of oil, okay. And as you can see, they can also have some endgame items over here as well. So that's 3 locations where you can get endgame items. I guess it's because, again, I have this maxed out, so this will have wide selection tier 3. I don't think the other ones have tier 3. You can see most of these locations will have only tier 1. So that's why you're seeing some of this stuff and it might not appear for you. Garrison crossbow, interesting, so I guess this is one step below the siege crossbow, but if I look at the stats, I think this is better because it has a huge bleed chance, 25% bleed chance, but the skill energy cost is also quite prohibitive. I guess it's not worth. Okay, no. It's very good except for the range, so I guess this is probably the crossbow people will end up using because of the high probability of injuring something or someone. Not bad either, but look at the noble sabatons, yeah. Okay, so we can really dress very, very fancily from these places. I don't remember how much it was in the jewelry shop, but yeah, you have to compare the prices on your own to see it. I not remember what the prices were. This is just another guild, silver guild. Let me see, do we have anything else to search over here? No, I think that's mostly it. I don't remember what this is, probably a bank. Let's see what they have to offer us. Okay. 10,000 crowns. But this is the bank, yeah, I guess it's an important place as well. You also rent a vault to deposit some stuff over here, but it's not really worth it. Yeah, I don't know why they have the bank mechanic in the game. It seems like it's a very, very niche thing to have for the very, very end game. I'm also not sure where the academy is. Oh well, I guess I misplaced the academy. Now let's go back to the port area because that's an area we haven't really been thinking about. Those are just stuff you cannot, places you cannot really do much. Okay. I hope at some point they expand some of this stuff as well, because it seems rather limited what you can do in some locations. Nothing there, nothing there. Okay, you also have to go to the Alchemist shop over here. You might think, well, there's nothing important. Oh yeah, let's take out this merchant as well. And have pretty cool stuff as well. Windlass, that's pretty good for the mid game. Not bad. But more importantly, it will give you access to the throwables. Look at this stuff. quartermaster staff, the gilded war staff. It's kind of nice. I think at some point we'll have chainmail light pieces. Very interesting bracers. That is so expensive. Because they have a lot more resistances. Okay. I guess the battle mage staff offers more protection. Look at this. This is almost like the best light gloves you can get. Too much resistance. Even the cowls have their own thingy. I guess you can choose a general build or just, you know, a very focused one. But to me it seems like they don't offer much. I mean, they give you pyromantic power 8% versus magic power 7. I guess these ones have the miracle chance and potencies. Probably worth it. Yeah, but like I said, more importantly, you can buy a lot of throwables from here, like the smoke bombs, the wider blood flasks, also a lot of potions, the vivifying essence, life train. I guess these are also random. Well, for mage shield. Oh, this is actually very good for a mage. So you can probably get an interesting belt from here as well. Jewlery. Still pretty expensive to buy from here. Court mage shoe. Also, you can come here for the variety of scrolls. The identification scrolls and the enchantment scrolls are pretty cheap as well. So, if you want to buy a lot of them, this is probably the only place where you can find more than 2. Very interesting as well. Well, yeah, let's go over here to the shop in the port, which, like I said, I think it has rotating merchants. Yeah, it's still the Scadian, it's not the elf. If it's the elf, you can buy some of the Elven ice wine from here. If not, well, tough luck. A Dwarven staff. It looks kind of cool. Viking stuff. Look at the helmet. This is so funny looking. I guess some people like it a lot more, but it's not that good. It's a light helmet. It does have a crit chance and control resistance, so it's not that bad. Runic amulet is not bad either, but it's only 1%. But it gives 1 to a lot of stuff. Norse blade is also. These blades are also pretty good. Again, for the beginning of the game, the early game, they are pretty good. Yeah. Plus a lot of fish. As you can see, this never decays, so if you buy a lot of this stuff, you'll be going for a lot of missions. Yeah, I guess I can show you the Elven merchant, but it's not really worth it since he has more or less the same items as the Elven shop. Okay, I think I wanted to show the academy, but I keep forgetting where it is. Let me see if I can remember. Not well. This is kind of like the end of the video, but let's explore a little more the town, because that was the business part. Now let's look at the pleasure part. Yeah, I cannot find where the academy is. It had, I think it had an altar where you could pray, and that's why I was so interested in it. No modifiers. Looks like the modifiers don't happen too often. Well, I guess it's still a pretty big spot to explore. Oh, look at that. Changed items. Flamberge. Okay, endgame. Two-handed sword. Not bad at all. Captain Glove is as well. So yeah, this guy can also sell you a lot of cool stuff after you max our reputation. So I guess it's worth searching all of the vendors when you come over here. Do I always have the feeling the academy is over here? Oh no, it's over here. Also the bank is kind of... okay, I see. I'm not sure of the utility of this building per se. But you can also speak to this priest. Will give you a double duration blessing. Usually this is about 1400 turns. If you take the blessing from your caravan idol, or from the roadside altar, caravan altar or roadside altar, or the priest in Manshire. I guess this is also pretty important because you can come over here, get the buff, and then do some other missions elsewhere. I guess you can also look downstairs. Be horrifying. But not interesting. So I guess they can have random stuff to tell you. But they don't have a dedicated vendor or anything like that. I'm afraid to imagine what they have over here. Okay, let's exit this place because it's horrible. I don't want to be stuck in there anymore. Also worth noting as a final hint and bonus, there are a few packs of basically stuff that looks like a bigger lion or whatever you want to call them, a mythical creature, that are around the Bryn. You can also just throw them over here and there are let me show you. There will be guards with crossbows on the wall. So, for example, if you draw in the beasts over here, if they don't catch you, the crossbow guards will shoot at them and you see their bows, their crossbows, will inflict bleeding and have a lot of range. So you can kill them and then you can harvest the skins and sell it for 380 or something like that, depending on your reputation level. So yeah, you can basically try that as a trick to get more money, and usually they're around green and you can probably search for them. If I remember correctly, they're also kind of like in the extended area around the city. You can do that as a trick to get a lot more money, but again, it's not really worth it in the long run because you're making a lot more money anyway. Now, if you have any questions, ask in the video comments. Otherwise, the most important things you can buy from here will be from the Elven shop, the caravan upgrades or some of the weapons, and then the free jewelry items, and then maybe a much better belt, because as you saw, some of them have crazy effects. And then the enchant scrolls, you can buff up your weapons as well, and then maybe a weapon or two. Otherwise, I think you'll just have to wait a long time before you can get them, or unless when you have maximum reputation. Otherwise, it's not really worth it to buy anything, because the prices are huge without the debuff you would get from a low reputation. So yeah, see you next time, bye bye.